Namaskar. Well. Things are getting very interesting. As if losing to India in Champions Trophy was not enough, Pakistan has completely been cut off for the money that it was getting for lending this hotel called Roosevelt Hotel in New York City to the New York um, state as well as the city of New York. Because what used to happen was close to 2,500 immigrants used to stay there at $200 a day. And this is considered like twice the normal rent that people pay for using that hotel. So basically, the city of New York, even though it's cash strapped, it was paying twice the amount for Pakistan for its hotel, the Roosevelt Hotel. And finally, the money has completely run out, because the last thing we remember, you remember that the last payment, the money was not there to be given to them, and that FEMA funds, 90 million, were taken out of that and paid to the New York City so that they could cover the expense to this Roosevelt Hotel. And that has been pulled back. A lot of noise going on. The New York City Democrats, this is one of their citadels. They are not happy. They are jumping up and down, screaming, lashing out at anyone and everyone. Now, what is the core problem here? They have spent way beyond their means. New York City has become a dump, especially its iconic Manhattan, multi-million-dollar mansions. Everything looks dump because this Roosevelt Hotel was one of the crux of the problems. They used to have long lines of people coming in. People used to squat. They used to basically dump the entire place, and you saw some horrible things being done. So what is going on? At one point of time, New York had close to 230,000, 230,000 illegals staying there. That means the actual number is probably double of that. Now, nobody is staying in Roosevelt anymore because they can't afford to pay that rent. Where are they going? Where have they been housed? New York State claims that most of them have been seated somewhere else. But if you look closer, it is the unfortunate cities and towns that are like 20,000 population, 40,000 population. Think Springfield, Illinois, for example. That's where the Haitians were there, and that's where this pet eating thing came up. So you understand how badly some of the Democrat-run states are getting hit. They are doing a pure math play. They are putting them in clusters in places where they will be able to get their congressman, woman elected based on the fact that these people are clustered and their vote will be useful to them. Like, for example, what is happening in Minnesota. Do you think Ilhan Omar will be able to win the congressional seat on the adjacent district to where she always wins? Fat chance, zero chance. Same goes for AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Same goes for Rashida Tlaib. And I bet you the same goes for Pramila Jayapal also. All these people are the new aggressive wing called progressives, whose their Agastya is Bernie Sanders, who himself now stands accused of committing a lot of corruption. People are saying this guy has multiple houses, multi-million-dollar mansions, and he is not able to see. One of the hearings, he was not able to rebut back. I think it was Kash Patel or Pam Bondi, one of those two, where she hit right back and saying, you raised so much money and you paid yourself 5 million. And he blurted out, I think he said, no, I got only 1.5 million. The numbers are not important here. The fact is, he did admit that he got that money. Be that as it may, what is really going on? So this is one side. Now, you also know that, oh, by the way, if you want to know how much expenses New York City is incurring, in 2023, for illegals, they paid at least $1.56 billion. $1.56 billion. Now you understand why the Trump administration is trying to evict the illegals on a war footing. There just isn't enough money. There just isn't enough money. And you also know that some thousands have actually been parked in Canada, hoping for a better day for them to come back. This is what Democrats are planning to do. They think that by getting these clusters formed and then getting them voting rights, then they will be able to win the elections. In fact, the New York City is about to pass a law, if they've not already passed, to allow illegals to vote. Not only that, in 2019, they passed a law called Green Light Law. And you know what that did? That allowed illegals to get driver's license in New York State. Not only that, it also enabled the state to not respond to queries from the federal government regarding the immigration status of the illegals, unless there was a judge order. Now, you can't go for every query to find out about an illegal by going to a judge and saying, here, I want to have this thing done, this request, please pass it. It was effectively a blockade. So what has happened after that? The Attorney General Pam Bondi has hit back. They have sued the state of Illinois, and now they have sued the state of New York, the Governor Kathy Hochul, as well as the Attorney General 𝗤𝗓𝗓 James. They are all jumping up and down in anger. So this is one part. The other part is, why did the Trump administration let off the mayor Eric Adams? Think about it. What could be the reason? I'm just thinking loud here. I don't have any data to back up what I'm thinking loud. I'm just trying to connect the dots. Think about it. Eric Adams looked guilty as heck, because what had happened was, with personal secretary, they couldn't explain how the money had gone. That was the allegation. Then this was before, this was during Biden's term. I think it was 6-8 months ago. And it looked like Eric Adams is going to be ousted from his post as mayor. But some guy managed to somehow miraculously hang on. And then the verdict came in the Trump case about that 34 counts for that $130,000 check, right? So that was why. Well, questionable thing is that the judge Juan Marchand has a $15 million problem, because his daughter appeared to have gotten funding from many congressmen and women and senators of the Democratic Party. You remember that video that I had shared, right? So basically, the question now is, inside the Democratic Party, looks like there are two parts. One side is the Hochul, the 𝗤𝗓𝗓 James, the woke crowd. And the other side is Eric Adams, who may have been ex-woke, but now he has woken up and he's no longer woke. And I think he wants a way out. My feeling is that Trump wants to get even with this judge and with the state of New York, because unless you teach a lesson that Democrats will not forget in a hurry, they'll continue to do this thing. This is my stand. I mean, I'm an independent. I'm just seeing the underhanded deals. I'm not saying Republicans do a better job. They were the ones who started this gerrymandering business, where they will stretch out one congressional district just so that it would cover all the Republican based voters. Therefore, they would win that district. They did that. Gerrymandering was something that the Republicans did. And after the Republicans did, the Democrats did it too. You go and look at the congressional district map of United States, it's a joke. What it essentially should be like a grid inside, it's not. Anyway, so that is a debate for a different day. Basically, what I'm thinking is that Eric Adams could have done an official plea deal with the Trump administration, that at the right time he will give the data about what really happened on that lawsuit. Because Trump needs to get all these lawsuits to go away. He can't just be bothered with it. I think Georgia also is on very shaky ground. I don't know if there are any other lawsuits that they are planning. And there's also a move to impeach Biden, even though he has already stepped down. See, the Republicans are also trying to do the same game that Pelosi did. She impeached Trump even after he had stopped being the president of the United States. Why is taxpayer money being wasted this way? I have no clue. But I do know this. US is getting into serious economic problems, and the crackdown is essential, but there has to be a way in which the innocent don't get hurt. I keep saying this thing because I'm hearing some horror stories where genuine people, genuine product projects are also being canned and the money being stopped. So that is what I'm hoping that will stop. If there are any questions, I will start taking them now. I'm the only one doing this managing today, so let me take a quick look at Sheriff of YouTube. Interesting. And Maulana Haramuddin Al-Harami. Sree, are 5 families still active in New York? I think so. Well, it's less than the Tammany Hall. It used to be much bigger. They controlled it for close to 100 years. When our Bharat will start deporting illegals? Is it true Trump will send check to US citizens if he thinks it is the money of US taxpayers? Sangeet Sagardi, yes, it is true. What they are trying to do is the 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is basically now recovering back money, and they have done a back of the envelope calculation, and Elon Musk has suggested to Trump, and Trump is keen to look at that, but the money has to come in. 55 billion has been recovered thus far. There's a website, 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗥𝗘 or something like that. Take a look at that. I'll look it up and put the link in the reference links section, and it tells you the running count of how much money 𝗏𝗏𝗏 has recovered, and the plan is to set aside 20% to the US taxpayers, some 76 to 80 million of them, and 20% to go towards the deficit, and the remaining thing will be used as expense. That seems to be the plan that the Trump administration is looking forward to. So who knows? The idea is that that might give 5,000 per taxpayer. If you have a family of taxpayers, then you'll get 5,000. If you're individual, each individual will get 5,000. Russia and Republicans are a match made in heaven. Something very interesting happened today, guys. There were 2 resolutions in UN on Ukraine, and the United States actually abstained and didn't vote against them, against Russia. India also abstained on both. And the reason is that actually one of those 2 resolutions was authored by United States, but then US withdrew from that because they said that the addendum text didn't quite sound right for them. So technicality maybe, but basically what it is there is beginning to be a schism, and I'm sure this will be repaired very quickly, but somebody is trying to force the hand of some countries to try and make Ukraine do something else. Maybe Europe doesn't want the war to stop. I don't know. It's really draining a lot of money, and the end with horror is better than horror without end. Thank you so much, Sheriff of YouTube. Sree, is it true that a permanent resident of US can run for mayor or councillor at city level? Does that mean for certain positions you need not be used? Absolutely, Mayor Opal. You can be even a Secretary of Defense or Secretary of, you can even be in congressional, in the post on the federal government. Arnold Schwarzenegger was not a US born person, and he ran for governor and he won and he became the governor. Yeah, yes, absolutely. You can run for many things. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if you can do it as a permanent resident. I'm not so sure. You have to be citizen, I think. But look, these days they are relaxing a lot of these laws. It's possible that in some things, like I told you, right, New York City wants to allow illegals to vote in the local elections, like for example, for state, for the mayor and things of that nature that are around the city, that school councils and things like that. And I don't think that is right, but anyway, that's what New York wants to do, because once New York does it, then Oregon will follow, so will California. I don't know, it'll just be downhill after that. Kamala became the president. Okay, let's not, okay, I'm just going to quickly go through that. Sheriff of YouTube again. In Canada and USA, under woke liberal left, landed immigrants became citizens once they have their passports. No, the citizenship law is slightly different. If you came in legally, then I think you need to work towards your green card first. For that, an employer has to sponsor you, and there's paperwork involved. It takes a few years. And after that, you become eligible to get a green card. Then you have your country-based queue. Each country has a slightly different queue. And based on that, your time will come and your green card will come. After that, you have to wait for 5 years. You have to live in United States for a period of 5 years. In other words, with a green card, if you went out of the country and stayed 2 months somewhere else, those 2 months don't count. It has to be some total of 5 years living in the US before you apply for citizenship, and it takes another year before you get it. at least a year. In Canada, looks like the same thing. I think even in United Kingdom, there are situations where illegals and people landed, even legals but not green card holders, can run for that. Okay. Canada is pretty much a third world socialist now. Even people with jobs wait for government checks every month. Well, that's all we have now. Thank you so much for joining. And by the way, the Germany result is becoming a little concerning in that the Conservative Party that has a 28.5% vote, and it is expected to go up a little bit. Now they are talking about not making the illegals leave the country. So AFD is being looked at as the primary enemy by everybody else in that country. I don't know. It doesn't augur well. Like I said yesterday in my update on German elections, I had said that AFD is the BJP of 1990s. And that's how the rest of the parties look at them. They are certainly growing fast. They swept East Germany area, and they are not that strong in other places. But that's how, once people see that result, then they'll say, okay, my goodness, we probably voted wrong. And if there's not going to be another election, who knows, AFD might come back and storm to power on their own. Right now, they are 20% of the vote. So stay tuned on German elections. I'll keep you posted on that. That's all we have for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And go to bell notifications and choose all. When you have done it correctly, the bell itself will be completely filled out and appear black. Thank you very much. Namaskar.